So this guy right here is the one who called ICE on the Alston car wash in Massachusetts, which resulted in 9 people being detained and arrested. He said he was calling ICE for months because supposedly they were all criminals and stealing jobs from Americans. His name is Zac Segal. I want everyone to remember him, because when things start changing, I want opportunities for him to also start changing. I want people to question if they even want to be around this guy. So remember his face.
This story is infuriating.
Zac is British. Now, why on earth do these people not have the right to work here, but he has the right to be here taking a spot from an American college student? Please make it make sense. And this is the same clown who was crying about Charlie Kirk. What a terrible and ridiculous way to go viral. 5 men and 4 women have now been separated from their families, and they are in Texas and Vermont.
Zac Segal said he had been, quote, calling ICE for months on end, quote, to detain these criminals, unquote. 5 women and 4 men were detained in the raid, and according to their attorneys, many of them hold legal status and valid work permits.
There's some question about whether or not he's a U.S. citizen. He grew up in London, right? He was born in Florida, which one presumably I think would make him a citizen, but he grew up in London. Someone else said, how is somebody from Britain the head of the college Republicans at BU? But it's just, I think it's the abject cruelty of all of this.
Yeah.
It is the cruelty and the bragging about it.
Zac Segal, seen here, is claiming credit for this.
A BU student says he called ICE for months to get them to raid an Alston car wash. Zac Segal, who's the president of the BU College Republicans, called the workers working there criminals, and he said he'd been calling ICE for months before the raid actually happened last week. Quote, as someone who lives in the neighborhood, I've seen how American jobs are being given away to those with no right to be here. The attorney for these workers has said that many of them have legal status, that they had valid work permits to be working there that day, and that they should be released. It's also not clear whether his calls were actually the reason for ICE to raid the car wash. We reached out to ICE to see if they'd be able to confirm, and they declined to comment. So after the raid, the community in Alston rallied around a lot of the workers. They've held vigils. They've raised thousands of dollars in their support for legal fees. BU declined to comment about Segal's statement specifically. The executive vice president of BU student government said that although he supports free expression for students, that Segal and the college Republicans are not representative of the wider BU community on this issue.
According to NBC Boston, 9 workers would be detained in the raid on the car wash. According to Telemundo, one man said his daughter, brother-in-law, and wife were detained, despite his daughter having a valid work permit. He said the agents wouldn't let her show documentation they print. By the time she called him, he said they had already signed deportation papers.
But anyway, here's the funny part. He's not American. This boy is from England, and he is here on a student visa. At least the car wash employees were here on work visas. He's just here on a student visa. He's no more American than they are. And I personally think it would be really funny if BU took another closer look at that visa and maybe decided that he wasn't right for their school.
6 women and 3 men would be detained. Per the Times, he posted a defense on Twitter saying, "My intention was simple, to protect my community and uphold the rule of law." He'd type extremists circulated his personal info online and claims he received death threats. No matter who you are or what you believe, threats and intimidation are unacceptable and should be condemned by everyone, he typed. Disgustingly, the official DHS Twitter account replied to Segal, calling him a, quote, patriot, proving they have no idea the definition of the word. The Times has more. The attorney for the workers said they had been busy vacuuming cars when military-style vehicles pulled up to the car wash. Those masked agents, who said they were armed, began making arrests. Those detained included a brother and sister and a pair of sisters. Another person is 67 years old, and they have lived in the States for about 3 decades, per the lawyer. In referring to the detained workers as criminals in his post, Segal is spreading false info about 9 people he does not know, their attorney stated. These people are not criminals. The College Dems of Massachusetts released a statement on November the 14th condemning Segal's comments and calling for his expulsion from Boston University. The College Dems called for all Massachusetts educational institutions to declare their campuses as sanctuary sites, wrote Dylan Burmeister. Time added the Republican Club's national group, the College Republicans of America, would go on to defend Segal and recommended that other young conservatives follow his lead. Quote, "We call on all college Republicans to follow in the lead of this great patriot, barf, and notify their local ICE forces of any suspected illegal activity in their communities immediately." That is from the national group's president, Martin Bertow. You want to see the differences in ideology? You have someone who is a college student, the president of those collegiate students at his university who are Republicans, with no proof. He didn't post anything. To my understanding, he didn't go to the car wash, even though it would be flat out discriminatory and intimidation. If he were to ask them, "Are you an American citizen? Are you here legally?" He has no intel whatsoever, unless he proves it. And he decided, because he saw brown people trying to work, he called ICE. He called ICE on people who are trying to earn a buck. And he is mad that people are mad. What I can't stand is how long of a leash some people have. And also how far we have fallen. Where this dude, who is, according to himself, born in Florida but was raised abroad, he thinks the country would be better if we had less brown people. That is what this act tells me. This act tells me he despises those who are not white. I've seen on his Twitter account, he has retweeted some other accounts that feature Nick Fuentes, who is a literal white supremacist. So yeah, that report about the Young Republicans group chat, where they're not young, and prominent Republicans like J.D. Vance calling them kids when they're in their 30s. Yeah, that's carried over. And I would almost guarantee that we would see something similar in his group chats and his text messages, as we saw from that Politico report. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports, and or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.